YouTube? I am your host, Mediocre, the tour views and reviews. Back in here with one more video. Guys, you're looking at the title of the video. You're looking at the thumbnail. You already know why I called this meeting here today. Shout out to Abba and Preach. You already know. Favorite reaction, commentary, discussion content amongst the YouTube land. You already know where I stand on their channel. They did a video tapping down into this sector. How many women do you need? Some men need to grow up. Now, this was a reaction based off of a Kevin Samuels clip that they then reacted to on a live stream. So this is a little bit of reaction inception, but it is what it is. All right. Without further ado,
today's topic, got a little video from you guys featuring Kevin Samuels.
What about those of us that require diversity? I found marriage and one woman to be incredibly boring. I might remarry when in older, but I'm only 32.
There you go, you're 32. What's gonna happen when you're 50? How much do you need, man? I tell you what, it'll get old real quick. 34 is probably already getting pretty damn old. Because it sounds like you've never had a loving relationship with a woman. You never had a woman rub your head and tell you it's going to be all right. And you never had a woman. See, guys who never had a woman's love, you're missing a lot. Even the crazy stuff they want to say in these spaces, FBI women, beautiful women who are feminine and inspirational, provide a hell of a lot more than just.
What? It's just, how much do you need? The way he said it, this like kills me. It's just, how much do you need? But yeah, I get it. We've had this conversation before, we did. Right? We talk about this in private and all this stuff. And this is like, after a while, I was like, how much more diversity?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now,
I did lie.
This came from our live stream. And so I wanted to ask him about this because oftentimes the manosphere, this is like a very talked about topic. And I talk about discipline when it comes to even the bedroom stuff, because I know what it's like to spiral out and to engage in a lot of it. So
the net of it was, men who have not had their quote-unquote sexual fill think that life is going to just be a non-stop acquisition of new women. And it's not. I mean, there's a relationship between a man and a woman that that supersedes the bedroom. And I think that's the problem. We don't value what each of us brings to outside of that. This is why you look at people when they map up, when we look over at celebrities. If having all these multiple millions and billions just meant you could have concubines or whatever, why don't they have them? Because most people don't want that. Yeah. And I would say this: number two, men who are really on their purpose, you're busy all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm busy all the time. The first time we physically spoke was in this live stream because we are so dadgum busy.
What?
Wait, hold up. Before they get in there, so let me talk about this. I think that, like, if you look at the clientele of most dating coaches, the clientele more often than not, 18 to 33, from an age perspective. And I say that to say, as a 35-year-old man, is that your interests will shift. Your interests will change. So if you're a content creator, say something like, I'm going to be, digging out viscosity for the rest of my life, right? Like, and you're 22 years old, you're 23 years old, you readily identify with that because within your 22, 23-year-old body, you can probably see yourself doing that. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily tying down to one. You're not thinking about, your legacy when it comes to from a family perspective. You're not thinking about these other things, but your testosterone is at your all-time high. You have the highest level of testosterone, and all you want to do, like your pursuit of happiness at that time is getting up inside the next viscous innards. So when someone like that says something like that to you, then you readily identify and you agree and you want to go on a path in order to figure out how to do that. But being 35 years old, what I've really understood, and I've said this multitude of times before, is that I am less happy with my Fridays and Saturday nights, right? Which might also have a lot to do with the acquisition of new viscous innards, new viscosity, right? And much more happy with my Saturday and Sunday mornings when I have the opportunity to focus on my passions and my purpose within life. We're all evolving on this thing called life. And I think that it's important for those that have been through those stages can talk to you now as a degree of reality sets in to understand that who you were back then is not necessarily who you will be into the future. So similarly, as we talk to and we talk about the delusion within women within this particular space that look at, you know, content over here, or even not content over here, we also got to talk about the reality of the changes of your evolution within your life. You understand what I'm saying? Like in my life right now, because of how busy that I am and all the things that I have to get done, now more than ever, although my reach is a lot bigger, now more than ever, I do way less dating. I have way less people come over, right? Like my spot used to be the hub. Okay, before you go out on a Friday or a Saturday night, you come over here first because I'm like right in the middle of the city and like all of that stuff. You come over here first. You think that I do that now? That I'm doing my 9 to 5 plus my daily uploads? I'm not doing that now, but I get a lot more joy out of accomplishing here than who could I meet at a pregame so that later on, you don't understand what I'm saying? But there was a time and a place for that. And I think that it's important that as men, we talk about that. Your evolution as you get older. Let's go back in.
That's just real shit. We're so busy. We're busy.
Making money. That's what it really comes down to. I think people have this misconception. I've heard people say this to me a few times too. They're like, yeah, man, now that you like made it must be like so easy, you must be out there. And I'm like, it's completely the opposite.
Yeah.
Now that I do this work full time and I'm on this, like, bro, I've had
When's the last time you got out? When's the last time you got out?
Forget this.
When's the last time you just, I'm not talking about open the door. Not open the door and get your Uber
walked
Eats.
out.
Just had a walk outside. Just a little around the corner, bro.
It's been a minute.
Facts.
It's been a minute.
Let's not even talk about let's talk about you leaving this goddamn place.
Facts.
Man, I got work to do. Got money to make.
God damn.
You know, and I would probably say the last 2 years since like things have really started to like pick up, I've probably gone on less dates than I have. Like this is the slowest period in my life in terms of dating and being out there. Before this,
same.
Shit. Before I was doing this YouTube and this stuff, you know, from ages like 28 to like 24,
savage.
I lived more in the streets than I did in my own place. Okay, I should have been paying rent and light bills out there. I owe somebody some money. Because I was out there, but now that I'm so busy, and it's not even.
Imagine the city sending you a light bill.
Yeah.
You've been living in these streets.
That's why I'm bored. I was in these streets. I was the streets. I was like, hey, bitch, come see me. I don't need a boombox. I just be on Tinder swiping outside their door.
I'm gonna be the one dressed like a cone.
Yo, that's it.
A whole construction cone. I'm the streets.
That's right. Forget a pothole. I was a sinkhole, man. I was just. But
oh man.
You know, when he spoke about purpose, like I really believe in that. When you are focused on something and you really believe in it, a lot of this other stuff starts to be on the back burner. The only way to apply yourself and to really have high level success, from my experience and from a lot of men who I've spoken to, is like you got to apply yourself. You can't afford to be the street. You can't afford to do that. Right? So that's a misconception that people have. Sure, when you get that first, you might be like, ugh. But generally, my experience and from talking to other dudes, like they've realized that one, it's not rewarding, and two, it's not worth the cost. How much it affects your career. You start to think about, man, I could have put my energy towards this, towards that. This really wasn't fulfilling, other than a quick ego trip. It was kind of refreshing to hear him say that, because you don't hear that kind of talk in the manosphere.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
you cannot.
Just real quick before Preach goes in. And shout out to Abba, because I appreciate him explaining that. But like similar, I was like the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to call my crib right here, I used to call this the graveyard, because it's where I catch bodies. Back in the day, but not no more like that. Like, because I'm so focused. But he's right though. I mean, you just can't combine the two. Shit. If you look at, you know, your favorite athlete, your favorite rock star, your favorite rapper, like all of these different things, what is the number one thing that gets that gets in the way of their progression? It's women. It's absolutely women. Okay. If you're not staying disciplined within your life with who you let in, how you let them in, and the balance of how long that you let them in. All right. Because I'm not saying that you have to completely forgo all these other things. But I'm saying that there has to be a degree of discipline and balance, delayed gratification within that, because you literally can't focus, because women, especially women that likes you, will try to take all your time up. Like, we'll try to take all your time up. Okay. They'll make you feel bad for prioritizing building up your kingdom. They'll make you feel bad. They will absolutely make them feel bad. And at the same time, like, you can't blame them because you stayed up with them till 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you wake up at 2 p.m. the next day, and then you missed out on 6 hours of creativity. You can't blame them. That's you. You got to blame no one else but you. All right.
Afford to be the streets unless you're Mike's kidder. You know what I mean? It was supposed to be so easy. Yep. That's the fall out with UK people.
Even athletes, people at high levels, if they try to engage in this too much, it affects their careers. Generally, you don't find too many playboys who are able to make it really far, get to, or to meet their full potential. Generally, they make it in spite of their need to constantly be everywhere.
Except Dennis Rodman. But even if he's the exception, so he makes the rule. But
even if you say he's the exception, it's like sometimes you succeed despite the fact that you put setbacks for yourself.
But he could.
Some dudes.
Yeah, but at the same time, like so like no disrespect if Dennis Rodman ever watches this video, you know what I'm saying? Because I grew up. I'm an 80s baby. I was born in 85, right? So like I saw the whole Dennis Rodman thing going on, but like I saw him later, seeing him later in life, and I saw him in personally in Fort Lauderdale in life, and I'm like looking at him and the women that had around him. I'm just like, bro, how was that even enjoyable? Like, how was what you're doing at 50 years old? How was that enjoyable? That's probably not that enjoyable. Having all these random people, like, especially like, we talked about earlier, kind of the difference within. How you have your time spread for other people. So when I think about like joy and happiness into the future, it's really figuring out and having as close to you the most amount of people that genuinely love you. It's not these short-term relationships where you're going out, you're having a good time, and y'all get drunk together and party together, and then, Ben's over here throwing up in the bathroom, and Amy's over here, she's going to come through later, and right? Like, none of that shit's going to be on your tombstone. None of that. It's good from a short-term experiential perspective, but when you think about like the long-term ramifications of what all that is, and the fact that in the long term, no one's going to care about what they were doing or what happened on that particular night, but the things that you create within your lab that have an impact on yourself, the people around you, your loved ones, or random strangers will have an impact on what you're known for, right? Will have an impact on that. Okay. And that's a big difference because that shit might be in your obituary.
Take Shaq, for example.
Yeah.
Genetically gifted. Unbelievable. Right?
Yeah.
Wasn't disciplined when it came to his diet and his workouts. Mm-hmm. It's no different than this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's just something I wanted to relate to you guys. It's and again, this comes back to what I said before. It's like the grass always seems greener. And I've seen a lot of my young homies go through it, and they talk to me about like, man, I want to be, doing what you did and all this stuff. And I'm like, it's not all that.
But go do you if it serves you.
That's right, because I can't make you learn that lesson sometimes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to go through it, and they go through it, and they come out to the same conclusion. It's hard to be, especially as you get older in age. It's like, ugh, I don't got time. Yeah, and he's right also about the once you have a very good relationship, one where both people are caring towards each other, supportive, and have each other's backs, and it's not a lot of images of negative relationships that you see a lot. You're like, damn, okay, this is something worth building upon. So, and the worst part.
So two things I want to touch on as well. Like, he's absolutely right, but let me also talk from my perspective as well. And I've said this on a multitude of videos before. There's nothing like that new. All right, there's nothing about, finding and discovering and having someone becoming attached to you because of X, Y, Z, A, B, C. There's nothing like that. It's still, even at 35, and I'm sure even at 45, there's going to be you have to put respect on that conquest, that feeling of conquest, right? From like a hunter, like myself, I'm a hunter at the end of the day, right? Like you can't escape that. But I will say, like, the value of the benefit within your life at 20, it's different. When you're 30, it'll be much different at 40. To the extent of this, you get a lot of dudes later that just forego it for whatever family or legacy that they're trying to build, and I completely 100% understand it. The other thing I want to talk about as well is because these dudes are unique. Like, they're talking about it, but they're both unique in the sense that they have what are they getting? Like 10, 15 million views per month, 20 million views per month. You know what I'm saying? So they have so much more reach. And they probably got more women that are looking at their content than I ever would. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm sure that the DM list is looking absolutely crazy. Let me tell you from my perspective as well. There's been a couple of times where I've had women reach out within my DMs, and the first message would be something like, hey, I love what you're doing on your YouTube channel. You're doing fantastic things. And I respond something back like, thank you so much, mama. And then the next response is their insides. I'm like, oh my, you know what I'm saying? Like the very next response. So there are things like that will happen, you know, when you create like a platform and stuff like that. But at the same time, right, like it's short-term benefit stuff. It's not actually real. So when I hear those that, you know, or talk about like what they have ascended into, or even like myself on like a much smaller scale, right? Like it's not all good. It's not all beneficial, because I've had things like that happen a multitude of times. And at the same time, it's just like, okay, for what? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, it's going to come. I'm not going to, you know, because it could be a setup at the end of the day. It's not real. It's not real. Or at least that's what I try to tell myself. All right, let's keep going.
You're sacrificing for this, but then you take away from meeting your potential, which means then you can't achieve the goals that you want to do, which is like potentially support your family, help the people around you, build for your community. You know, it's like if you ask me today what I derive pleasure from, it's like supporting those around me. That's what makes me personally fulfilled, right? I'd be sacrificing that to do all the other stuff. Does that seem right? Does that seem in line with like the values that I want? So you have to ask, what is your purpose? What it is that you want to accomplish, right? So that's just something that you have to think about. Is there anything else that you want to bring up?
No? You nailed it.
Okay, you have nothing to say on this topic?
No, not really.
No. Yeah, single life for you. You know?
He's been done for a minute.
It's like me and Christianity.
You know what's hilarious? I don't know this for sure. Abba definitely edits these videos. I don't know this for sure. I don't know this for sure, but you could tell how they engage and stuff like that, and then the edits, and then who zooms in on what in the particular conversation. Abba, who's in the yellow shirt, if y'all don't know, but I guarantee he's the one that's editing these videos. All right, I guarantee it.
Zoom in on your face. I'll zoom in on your face.
I could be wrong though.
Today Abba chose violence.
Yeah, but no, it was not as violent as me when I went in. Because whenever you said that, whenever you wrote that, I was like, yeah, today.
You know why I wrote that?
I woke up. Why?
I wrote that because I knew like a lot of people were gonna have a visceral reaction to what you were saying. So I was just like, get it, nigga.
And it was not even as bad as I thought it would be.
No,
I thought people would be. You're good.
He's backing up. I gotta let him know we still in these streets. Okay, we still in these streets. Can you hear the streets calling?
I thought it would be worse.
And it's funny I'm talking about this right now because I have like YouTubers who I used to follow way back in the day. Some of you guys might know him, Hot Damn I Rock. He actually came out with a video recently.
Yes.
And he talks about the change in his perspective as well. And so it's interesting to me that literally everybody I know who I've genuinely respected have kind of realized that being out here in these streets doing all this stuff, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's generally not worth it. And for the young folks who are watching this, young men especially, I know what they might sell you. I know what the people around you might be talking about. Understand a lot of it is just fluff.
All right. Here's one thing that I would love to ask Preach, because Preach is married right now. You know what I'm saying? Like if I had a one-on-one with Preach, shout out to Preach, by the way. We had a one-on-one, I'd be like, bro. Because he got married before the fame, right? So I'd be like, bro, talk to me real quick, all right? Is it worth it? Right? Like man to man, right? You know what I'm saying? Because like I told you guys before, like from a man's perspective, y'all know this as well. Like the idea that you can ascend to a place where you get all of this access, right? You get all of this access. You get way more access that you could never have gotten before, right? But you have made a decision early in your life, right? For the rest of your life, right? So like now that you're here, but now you have all this access, like talk to me. Was it worth it? The world may never know. All right, guys, that's all I'm going to play in this video. There's still more in this video to go. I'm going to leave it down in the description box down below, a link to the video. So feel free to go up there and finish out the video. Fantastic content as per usual. I appreciate them as content creators, always bringing us back to a place of homeostasis so we can have a deliberation about it, a conversation about it, so we can critically think in an attempt to push the culture forward. You understand what I'm saying? Questions, comments, concerns, Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Guys, feel free to hit me up. I got an Instagram as well. Feel free to continue on sending me IG messages, following the account. Last but not least, I got a Patreon where my inner circle, we congregate and we talk about subjects just like this in an attempt to grow each and every one of us to be the best versions of ourselves, to achieve the most amount of happiness and joy into the future. If you want to get closer to my community, if you want to get closer to me, that's where to find me. Link down in the description box down below. Until next time, YouTube.